Well, there is a real uniqueness about San Diego, which I think is unparalleled. Here, there are no seams or borders. We have over 80 research institutes here, not just Scripps and Salk and Sanford Burnham, University of California, San Diego, and it just goes on and on and on. But then with that, in this tight geographic corridor, the Mesa, we have this cluster of life science industry and wireless information technology. When you bring this all together, it sets up an opportunity that one can never find anywhere else in the world.
My experience is that any high-tech activity flourishes when it's near major academic centers. If you look at the distribution of high-tech businesses, they cluster around academic centers. And that really happens for two reasons. One is workforce. The graduates and trainees from those institutions go and populate the companies. And second, the ideas, the new innovation, the inventions are coming out of those institutions and seeding new businesses. So if the patent office really wants to have its agents and staff immersed in an innovative climate where they're hearing about the ideas before they see the applications and being exposed to the technology before they have to judge the applications, this is the place to be.
The California Institute for Telecommunications and Information Technology is a startup in itself in the public sector. Over the last 10 years, we've gone from a blank piece of paper to over 1,000 researchers at UC San Diego and UC Irvine. Now, this is across 24 different departments. Within academia, we've worked with over 300 companies during the last 10 years. That's not possible unless you are in an environment that has a historical tradition of collaboration. You know, many world-class universities have great brains, but they also have much more of a stovepipe mentality where it's quite difficult to put together a world-class team across multiple departments. Here at San Diego, it seems to be the norm, and that's one reason I think you've seen our institute, Cal IT2, grow so rapidly. It's out of that fertile ground of collaboration that is embedded in the culture of San Diego.
So the Sanford Consortium itself is a bold experiment, not just in interdisciplinary stem cell science. It's an experiment in how scientists from multiple institutions and multiple disciplines can get together to accelerate the next generation of medical breakthroughs and scientific breakthroughs. And so the consortium itself is designed physically to enhance interactions and to bring people together. The scientists who will be in this facility run from engineering to informatics to clinical medicine to hardcore neuroscience, you name it, and oncology. And something like this, to my knowledge, has really not been done anywhere else in the world like we're doing it here. And it's not to say that the Sanford Consortium is the last word in how you might do things, but the fact that the local institutions and the local community were willing to get behind an experiment like this and build this kind of consortium, a true partnership among major institutions, is unique. I don't think it could have been done anywhere else in the world.
Well, at the research institutes, of course, our investigators are predisposed to collaborate with other experts in their fields. And with the close proximity of all the research institutes and universities in San Diego, there's a great facilitation of those collaborations. And out of those collaborations comes the best kind of IP often, the most innovative, the most diverse, the most novel concepts come out of often collaborations between different individuals.
And especially with all the research institutions being so close to each other geographically, you can have groundbreaking research that still has, in its grasp the idea of what can we do to get this to impact communities in the short term. So because we have wonderful hospital systems that are tied to our research institutions, we are able to take the technology that seems like a great idea, but be able to say, well, what do we do to get it to the clinic? And that's critical, is actually getting it to the clinic to impact lives. Because although research articles are important, they don't save lives as much as putting it in the clinic and really impacting our communities or putting products on the market that change our world.
Generally, the institutes, of course, contribute by being sources of very cutting-edge research, and the intellectual property that results from that research is commonly the foundation of startup companies in the region, and can be also licensed to existing companies to increase potentially the employment opportunities at those existing companies.
So many of our different graduate training programs, for example, have coursework, seminars where individuals get together and talk about scientific papers, scientific technology, and we would be very open to members of the USPTO coming and joining us. I think it would be beneficial for them to be immersed in those activities, and I think it would be beneficial for us for them to bring their unique perspective to our experience.
On any given day, there are seminars within 5 miles of this area going on pretty much every subject you can think of between all of the various institutions we have here. So from an educational point of view, it's a very rich environment.
One of the important things about the San Diego region is that it's a border region. It has been grown out of multiple cultures. I would say that's even accentuated by the international engagement with visitors, and indeed even with partnerships and projects with other countries. Now what that means is that we are getting quickly exposed to the global problems of definition of intellectual property. Different countries have very different attitudes, and for the United States to be competitive in a global economy, that understanding of the differences in intellectual property on an international basis is quite critical.
The research institutes attract investigators from all over the world and all over the country. And many of them, when they get to San Diego, like the environment so much that they stay here. And so they bring their different perspectives and they bring their different experiences to the community. And that is a great increase in diversity and increase in richness of thought and perspective that we really have as an advantage here.